We're here at PDAC 2016, and I'm being joined by the newly appointed president of McEwen Mining. He has over 20 years of global operating and financial experience in the gold mining industry, and he was the former CEO of Archipelago Resources, helping it grow to a 200,000-ounce gold producer. Before joining McEwen Mining, he also personally invested over $500,000 in the company, giving him plenty of skin in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin Sutherland.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Pleasure, Colin. Pleasure's all mine. So I'd like to first start off by asking you, what first attracted you to the company?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it's Rob. His unique shareholding is something that is not found in the industry. So working for somebody that has a vested interest in what's going on, creating value for the shareholders. As you said, I invested personally myself. So, having that alignment was the first thing. And then when you look at the diversity of the assets, the quality of the assets, it made a very attractive opportunity for me, and it was something that I just couldn't pass up.
Excellent. Well, you probably couldn't have joined at a better time. The stock is up 75% year to date.
Yes.
Aside from that, how has it been during your first 2 months?
Well, it's been a big learning curve. I'd say going into any company, you're learning about the people, you're learning about the assets, you're learning about the processes. Those are all things that I've been doing over the last couple of months, and just getting myself comfortable with the operations. I consider myself financial, obviously, by background, but I do enjoy getting into the operations and meeting the people that are behind the scenes and are the ones that are really delivering the value for us. So, working with them, understanding what the gaps and challenges are, and then delivering on what we told the market we were going to do.
Excellent. So after operating Archipelago Resources in a crushing bear market, what are some of the key lessons you learned during the past few years that you're bringing with you to McEwen Mining?
Well, I would say, the financial discipline is something that I've always brought to any organization. So, I always say that people can look at rocks and tell me what the value of the rock is, and I always look at a rock and say, can we make money off of that rock? And so, instilling that discipline with our operational teams and just making sure that they can react to the commodity price, so that if mine plans need to change or we need to change midstream, we've got that planned out. So making sure that they've got real-time information so that they can make decisions that are going to create value.
All right. So I noticed production guidance slightly decreased for 2016. So what is your 5-year plan to grow the company and production?
Well, I would say the decrease was more related to a high-grade zone that we encountered in 2015. So, when you normalize the operations over the next number of years, we'll produce somewhere between 140 and 150,000 ounces. With Gold Bar coming into play, through the construction period in 2017, then we are in a scenario where by 2018 we'd be over 200,000 ounces. So, our 5-year outlook is really to continue delivering on value, making sure that we're making money off the ounces that we are producing, growing our treasury, and making decisions that are in the best interest of all of our shareholders.
Of course. So 2 weeks ago, you announced your first acquisition as president of the Afghan property. That's very exciting. Can you tell me more about that and why that was done?
Well, the Afghan property is about 6 kilometers away from the existing Gold Bar asset. And when you look at it, there's a historic resource on there of over 200,000 ounces. On the exploration side, they did have some encouraging results. We do know that it's open to the east, it's open to the southwest. So, the plan right now is to put a drill rig in there in April. We'll spend about $1 million on exploration this year. And the objective really is to just grow the current footprint. We know the property itself right now, as it stands in a recent feasibility study, will produce about 65,000 ounces a year over 6 years. And we feel that the Afghan property will allow us to bolt on additional ounces to the back end of the mine plan.
So talking about the Gold Bar property, can you remind me again, what are the 3 criteria Rob McEwen has to build a project or not?
Well, it's quite easy. It's got to have a low capex, an internal rate of return over 20%, and a 3-year payback.
Excellent. So the Gold Bar property obviously exceeds all of those. So I assume your team is obviously working very diligently to put that into production. But the question is, where is the $60 million of capex going to come from to fund the project?
Well, it's twofold. I mean, our treasury right now sits at about $37 to $40 million. So we do have cash in order to put into the project, and then the other component we think that we would be able to access, the debt markets. And if not, then we'll continue to grow our treasury balance over the year, so that by the end of the year we'd be in a position that the remaining balance that's needed would be very, very small relative to what's actually needed.
So one of my most anticipated questions I think of asking you is Rob McEwen's ambitious goal of getting into the S&P 500, which requires a market cap of $5 billion or more. That's currently 7 times your existing market cap. So how are you planning to achieve this?
Well, look, again, when we look at the current portfolio of assets, we think we've got some undervalued assets that exist. We have some development properties that could come into play. We have leverage to all of the commodities. So we have leverage to silver, we have leverage to gold, we have leverage to copper. So if we do get into a bull market scenario, we've got options on all those commodities. The other component that I feel that I've been brought in to assist with is on the M&A side. So we are looking at projects that would meet our criteria. We're looking at a north-south type of boundary, and we think we will only act if we feel that it will be accretive to all of our shareholders. But it's a very ambitious goal. But again, I would say that we're very unique in that we've put the goal out there. And so everybody in the organization is striving to achieve it.
So to wrap things up, in terms of your operational and financial background, what are you hoping to achieve in your first year of operations as president?
Well, I always say deliver. So, it's a very simple and simplistic term, I would say. But, our shareholders have an expectation of what we will deliver on. And so my objectives is really working with the teams to make sure that if we say we're going to do something, that we actually do it. And, I would say if you do the right things all the time, then you'll get very good outcomes. So, our teams, we've got an excellent team. We're set to deliver for this year. And I think going forward, the future is very, very bright for the company.
Excellent. So we've just heard from Colin Sutherland, the newly appointed president of McEwen Mining. He has a track record of success at building profitable gold companies. He's laid out his 5-year plan. And most excitingly, they have an ambitious goal of getting to the S&P 500. Thanks for watching, and Colin, thanks for your time.
Thank you.